Hi, this is Holly of Holly's Soapmaking. In this video, I'll show you how I made a beer soap with a little clay for color and an orange cedarwood blend of essential oils. If you're interested in the recipe, you'll find it at the end of this video, and all of the other details and information will be listed in the description box below. I started by preparing the beer, which will replace the water in my lye solution. I like to simmer the beer over low heat to remove the carbonation and burn off some of the alcohol. The beer will evaporate some during this process, so be sure to use enough, or you can do like me and just add some distilled water to make up any difference. After about 15 minutes, I set it aside to cool and then placed it in the refrigerator overnight. I used red Brazilian clay to create a light orange tint in the soap and some black walnut hull powder for the swirl. I added a little water to each of these so they'd blend in easier later. To create the lye solution, I first weighed the beer that I prepared the day before. I was a little short, so I added some distilled water to make up the difference. Then I weighed out the sodium hydroxide. Just a quick note that sodium hydroxide, or lye, is a caustic substance that can burn your skin and permanently damage your eyes, so be sure to learn and practice lye-safe handling procedures when making soap. I gently stirred until the sodium hydroxide had completely dissolved, then I set the lye aside to cool. I oven processed the soap to make sure the entire loaf went through gel phase. I preheated my oven to its lowest temperature, then turned it off and placed the soap inside, leaving it overnight. I left the oven light on for about 2 hours to help maintain the warmth inside the oven a bit longer. Since this was a cold process soap, I left the top of lye set to sodium hydroxide or NaOH. My recipe oil weight was 1,200 grams. My lye concentration was set to 35%, which means my lye solution consisted of 35% sodium hydroxide and 65% liquid, which in this case is mostly beer and a little distilled water. I set the superfat to 6% and my fragrance usage rate was 45 grams per kilogram. Once you have everything entered, you just select View Recipe Summary, and SoapCalc will give you a really nice listing of all of your ingredients, including the amount of sodium hydroxide required to saponify your oils. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found something useful here to help you in your soap making.